Hi, I'm Lo-Fi Thrasher Lenny Blade, and this is the Retro Hunter Thailand show. Though I haven't been, nor will I, go retro hunting in this episode. This is a special episode. It's about the holidays and how the holidays can be a lonely place and a lonely time for some people. Especially with the world as it is, especially, I mean, if you're living in Thailand, there may be travel restrictions, there may be other COVID-related things, maybe you've been cut off from your family and friends somehow. Or, you know, remember that sometimes loneliness isn't always true, abstract loneliness isn't always necessarily a physical phenomenon. So, you know, maybe you're out in the sticks with the missus here in Thailand, and maybe you wish you were alone. And sometimes people just don't fit in, even when they're surrounded by people. But fret not, ladies and gentlemen, because sometimes help comes from the most unlikely source. So Lenny Blade is here to tell you how to spend your lonely New Year's Eve. So pay attention and let's go. Alright, I'm gonna start with my favorites here. This is a choose your own adventure style book here, where you read a story and then you choose what to do. You see here, for example, will you let them believe you are the new servant they are expecting? Turn to number 302. Or do you want to investigate the room further? Turn to 215, for example, and then you keep flipping through the book. It's full of gorgeous artwork. I love these books. These books are like 80s, but they have been remade. They have been reissued, republished, I guess it's called when when we're talking about books. So they're not that hard to find nowadays. There are different kinds. As you can see, a Scorpion Swamp, and so on. And the Forest of Doom, that's a classic. I had that one as a kid, but in Swedish, of course. And as you can see here, there were sci-fi, and that's more like a Mad Max style. We got more sci-fi there, Space Assassin, and The Talisman of Death, which is another classic. And here we have a horror-themed book, House of Hell. So there were a lot to choose from, and the only thing you need to play is obviously, you know, one of the books, and then a character sheet, which you can just copy. And you will need a pen and eraser, and a couple of dice. That's all you need. And choose a good soundtrack as well. I have the perfect compilation for you here. Hell on Earth, Metallica, Virgin Steel, Battle Axe. There's a lot of good stuff. Man of War, of course. Here's another game, Escape the Dark Castle, which is also, you can play one player. It's almost the same thing, but you're going through cards instead of a book. You can find items. It's all about getting through the Dark Castle and fight the boss at the end. As you can see, the artwork is straight out of a 90s, early 90s, late 80s death metal demo. I love the artwork here as well. These are the bad guys at the end. There are custom dice. Very simple rules. Just pick up and play, just the way I like it. Even comes with its own pencils. Here are some of the items you can get. Yeah, I mean, a lot of fun. I've played this a ton. If you're in Cthulhu mood, I've got some good news for you. I've got two games I'll recommend. The first one here is Elder Sign, which is a dice-driven narrative game, though the narrative aspect isn't that strong. It's actually quite weak, but the game is as immersive as you want it to be. You can always come up with your own, you know, fill in the blanks. It's sort of like playing Atari 2600. You know, you have to fill in the blanks, or in television or whatever. But yeah, you're going through all these locations, and your main objective is to stop the ritual and to stop the ancient ones from being summoned, obviously. If they do get summoned, you do have a chance to fight them at the end, though it's really, really hard. So you're going through locations, you're fighting monsters and things like that, and to do that you have certain things. You have items, you even have spells, you can get allies. It's a lot of fun. Easy rules, easy to get into, recommended. Eldest Sign from Fantasy Flight. And one of my favorite IPs of all time, and one of my favorite comic books of all time, is Judge Dredd. And here is a game that plays really well solitaire. You're controlling 3 judges. You have Judge Giant, Judge Anderson the Psychic, and Judge Dredd. And you're going through the Cursed Earth, and you're going to try to catch a criminal called Max Normal. But there's also a gang of perps, and they're trying to get him too. So if you reach him before they do, you win the game. Here are some example of the obstacles that you have to overcome. There's a giant spider, there's some other stuff here. You have limited resources to deal with these problems. You have limited ammo and food, and also you can get radiation points, which lowers your health, basically. It's a really cool game, and it plays really well solitaire. Okay, so a couple of honorable mentions, if you will. I'm not going to go into details on this. This is Shadowscape, which is a dungeon crawler which can be played solitaire. There's also an expansion called Deep Dungeon. Lord of the Rings Journey to Mordor is basically Yahtzee in a Middle-earth theme. Fun. Role Player is a really cool game which can be played solitaire. You build your own character as you would in a role-playing game, and you go to the market, you buy armor and weapons and stuff, and with the expansions you can also kill stuff. Good fun. This next one here is probably my all-time favorite solitaire game, like of all time, and it's Arkham Horror, the living card game. If you are the least interested in H.P. Lovecraft and his lore, you should pick this up. It's an extremely narrative and immersive game. It's kind of like Elder Sign in that you go from location to location and deal with things, but this is so much more involved. You have complete scenarios, you have even campaigns where you can level up your character and buy new abilities and items. It's just absolutely amazing, and warmly recommended. Arkham Horror, the living card game from Fantasy Flight Games. And the only thing that's left to do is to choose a soundtrack for this, and of course you will go with a sound effect vinyl. BBC's Even More Death and Horror is my recommended one. Alright, happy holidays, see ya, take it easy. Leisure to kill, open